Welcome to SVG-TV News for Monday, January 29th, 2018. I am ROCHELLE with the details. The estimates of revenue and expenditure for the fiscal year 2018 amount to some $993,535,449. Presented by new Finance Minister Camilo Gonzalez, the 2018 estimates are set to represent a 1.7% increase when compared to the approved 2017 budget, with some 4 new initiatives contributing to the estimated figures. Nikita Tony tells us more in this report.
The appointed Finance Minister Camilo Gonzalez earlier today, Monday, January 29th, presented his maiden address in Parliament of the budget estimates of revenue and expenditure for 2018, representing a 1.7% increase over the approved budget of 2017. Some $993,535,449, according to Minister Gonzalez, is expected to be spent during the 2018 fiscal year. He also gave an overview of the estimated figures and its anticipated funding.
Recurrent expenditure, inclusive of amortization and sinking fund contributions, of $776,879,739, and capital expenditure of $216,655,710. We anticipate that the 2018 budget will be financed by current revenue of $621,658,138 and capital receipts totaling $371,877,312.
Minister Gonzalez went on to outline 4 new initiatives which have contributed to the estimated figures.
The matter of changes to ministerial portfolios, and the ministerial portfolios that were changed and announced in 2017 are reflected in these estimates. Budgetary provisions have been made to pay a total of 103 graduate teachers who have been appointed across the primary and secondary levels with effect from January 1st, 2018. All temporary clerks, a total of 64, previously paid by the Service Commission vote, have been now confirmed officially as junior clerks, and their salaries have been allocated to the various ministries and departments where they have been employed over the recent years. Total of 98 new positions have been created across the public service to enhance service delivery to the citizens of St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Outlining the figures for the 2018 current expenditure and current revenue, the Finance Minister also indicated that there is a current account surplus present in this year's estimates.
Expenditure of $617.4 million, revenue of $621.7 million. As a consequence, there is a modest current account surplus of $4.2 million in these estimates. I believe it's been a little while since we could report to the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines a current account surplus.
Gonzalez added that the 2018 total recurrent expenditure, inclusive of amortization and sinking fund contributions, stands at $776.9 million.
This figure is 3.9% or $29.5 million over the amount budgeted in 2017. The recurrent expenditure for 2018 is made up as follows. Current expenditure, $617.4 million. Amortization, $137.5 million. Sinking fund contribution, $22 million, amounting to the total recurrent expenditure of $776.9 million.
The Finance Minister further assured the Vincentian public that a better breakdown of the figures presented today will be presented during his presentation of the appropriation bill.
I'll have more to say, Mr. Speaker, on the way in which we plan to implement the capital budget, the way in which we have tried to be realistic and honest with the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines about what we can do in a year and what we plan to do with the capital budget.
The 2018 budget presentation is slated for February 5th. Nikita Tony reporting for SVG-TV News.
And members of the opposition walked out of Parliament today after delivering a no-confidence motion against the government. According to opposition leader Dr. Godwin Friday, they will not allow the normalizing of the behavior of Minister of Finance Camilla Gonzalez, who they have called on to resign over the YUGGE FARRELL scandal. During a Facebook Live broadcast, Dr. Friday said his party's decision to boycott the presentation of the budget estimates by the new finance minister is based on good reasoning.
And then I saw that the item on the paper came up, statement by ministers, and nobody said anything. And then we're moving on to the next item on the House. So naturally, I rose to ask the Speaker, essentially, to permit me to reiterate my call that I had made publicly in the press conference we held here at NDP headquarters, and also in the press statement that we had released, to call upon him to make a statement to clarify the issue, to reassure the public. This is a matter, he's a Minister of Finance, he's a Minister of Government, he's an elected representative. I think that the people of this country, I know the people of this country deserve to have the Minister make a statement on the matter. Whether it's yea or nay, to clarify, to deny, or to mea culpa, to say whatever. But he has resolutely remained silent, as if the people are not entitled to hear him speak on the matter, that he is above all of this and we could basically do what we like.
Dr. Friday also expressed disappointment in the Speaker of the House decision to prevent him from speaking on the matter in Parliament.
Normalize that kind of behavior. And the Speaker will not allow me to speak. I was quite disappointed in his reaction as well, because I know from practice in the House that when a member rises on his feet and asks for permission to make a statement, that he uses his discretion to allow it in certain occasions. In this case, he decided against allowing me to do it, holding on technicalities about the rules of the House. The Standing Order 81 allows discretion to the Speaker, and I ask him to exercise it in this case because of the importance of the matter, of the statement that is required from the Minister, and he said no. And in fact, he invited me to leave the House if I wanted to. So we, in the opposition, we said we will not, under those circumstances, sit there and have him proceed, have the Minister proceed as if this is business as usual, without making a statement and thumbing his nose at the people. And this is contempt for the people who sent us to the Parliament. I believe.
The opposition leader added that the issue surrounding the former fashion model and the finance minister is no longer a private matter, and again made another call for the minister to resign.
In Ontario just recently, the PC minister leader had to resign because of some allegations that had been made against him. And he stepped down right away. And the minister here does not even feel that he has an obligation to say something to the people of this country. And I said that was too much. I could not sit in the House and normalize that kind of behavior, because where do we go from here? If this is not a matter of national importance, what is? It has overshadowed the budget process. I said that in my statement to the press some time ago in the press statement that was released. And it is true, because today at the House, where was the press? The press was down at the courthouse instead of up at the Parliament House, because the matter that was taking place at the courthouse with this Farrell was taking precedence over the presentation of the estimates. And so it's we cannot dodge, we cannot escape from. And the minister, we are calling him to resign because he's failed to meet his obligation, his respect for the people of this country. And we will continue to put that pressure there because it is the right thing.
Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonzalez, on the other hand, expressed hope that the no-confidence motion will be examined and debated in a democratic and transparent manner. He said the sooner the better, and suggests that the debate on the motion in Parliament commence on Wednesday, soon after the presentation of the two remaining government ministers who are down to make their contribution to the 2018 budget estimates debate.
The law says, the Constitution says under Section 47(2)(a), If notice in writing is given to the Speaker, signed by not less than 3 representatives of a motion of no confidence in the government, the Speaker shall, 1, if the House is then sitting, which it is now, cause the motion to be considered by the House within 7 days of the notice. Well, Wednesday would be within 7 days of the notice. And that's it. It has a proviso that if the House does not, within 21 days of the notice, meet and dispose of the motion, the clerk of the House shall summon a special meeting of the House at such time and place as he may specify for the purpose of debating and disposing of the motion. Mr. Speaker, I don't want to put the clerk in the position where she has to summon the House. That's not the way. We believe in being very open and democratic and transparent.
In other news, former fashion model YUGGE FARRELL is now out on bail and is expected to return to court on December 17, 2018. Her bail was granted today by the new sitting senior magistrate, Ricky Burnett, at a follow-up court appearance, having spent 3 weeks at the mental health institution for observation. Sharon Gawe tells us more about what transpired in court earlier today in this report.
Of persons to free YUGGE and some wearing ribbons of the color teal to symbolize the universal stance against sexual abuse against women was evident outside the Kingstown Magistrates Court today. The 22-year-old Otley Hall resident YUGGE FARRELL was released on a $1,000 bail after being charged with using abusive language against the complainant, wife of Finance Minister Karen Duncan Gonsalves. Farrell, who was whisked away by lawyers in a vehicle, will have her next appearance in court on the matter on December 17, 2018. In court, Senior Magistrate Ricky Burnett made it clear that the initial ruling by Magistrate Bertie Pompey still stands. Farrell, who was sitting in the defendant's box, looked calm, a far contrast to her last appearance in court on Monday the 22nd of January when she was making unusual sounds and faces. As the case proceeded, Magistrate Burnett inquired as to the whereabouts of the complainant Karen Duncan Gonsalves and warned the prosecution that she was to be present. Director of Public Prosecution Colin Williams, however, noted that he sent the message to Duncan Gonsalves, but it seemed that it was not delivered. Moments after the court was informed that the complainant was present. The complainant, Karen Duncan Gonsalves, and the defendant, YUGGE FARRELL, stood at opposite sides of the dock. Farrell, looking straight ahead, kept her gaze at the magistrate, while Duncan Gonsalves occasionally looked at Farrell and into the gallery of the courtroom. With new representation, Barbadian Queen's Counsel Andrew Pilgrim defending the Otley Hall resident, Magistrate Burnett informed the court of the 3 main points in the case. Firstly, that the ruling made by Pompey on Friday, January 5th, still stands, since Magistrate Pompey, who had first presided over the case, can accept the plea of Farrell and recommended that she be committed to the mental health institution. Magistrate Pompey agreed to this submission by the Director of Public Prosecution, DPP Colin Williams, as he cited from the Caribbean Commonwealth Law of Practice was in the correct standing of the rules of the court. Senior Magistrate Burnett further explained that if an objection to the ruling is to come into effect, it cannot be changed unless it goes through the High Court, as another magistrate's court cannot interfere with the ruling of another magistrate's court, since they are both of equal standing. Secondly, in his ruling, Magistrate Burnett said the court would accept the report made by the psychiatrist in the first report as valid. The magistrate noted that the argument made by Grant Connell, the then lawyer for the accused, that there was a no confidence in the medical practitioner who did the evaluation at the mental health facility because she was a general practitioner, was not valid. The presiding magistrate highlighted that the doctor can conduct such evaluations within the scope of the Mental Health Act. He also pointed out that being employed with the government is an assurance of the medical practitioner's certification, as she is the district medical officer attached to the Mental Health Center. The third ruling given by the Magistrate Burnett was that the plea by Farrell be accepted, since such matters could not be overturned unless it was in the High Court. Sharon Garraway reporting for SVG Television News.
Our news team got feedback from some of the family members and persons who were at the courthouse today.
They give she some time for we recover herself properly, you know.
And how did she look to you? How did she look to you?
Well, she looked more formal to me than last week. It really touched me. It really touched me because I've been since last March. I asked to help and it's like nobody didn't know. People didn't know. It looked like people. It looked like it's something now happened. But it happened since last year. I beg, I cry, me try to cry.
What did you beg for?
Feel good about it. Everything will happen from here on, we will see what will take place.
What do you think about the date to be adjourned in December?
That is so that they could withdraw it and do the behind the scenes settlement. It's not going to be tried.
What do you mean she's not going to be tried? You think it's going to be what?
Washed out.
Any comments, Mr. Williams?
Ms. Gonzalez, anything you want to say about
Any comments, Ms. Gonzalez?
this development?
And President of the National Council of Women, Beverly Richards, said she is pleased that YUGGE FARRELL was released from the mental health institution. Richards says her organization tries to ensure that justice is carried out for all women and girls, particularly the vulnerable. Richards also noted that there has been strong support for FARRELL from regional and international organizations.
The UN also has interest. The UN also has interest in this matter. We have a statement from Barbados National Women's Organization, and we have support internationally, regionally, and internationally for this matter.
Okay. Anything else you want to say?
Well, I just would like to encourage the family.
The Women's Council President emphasized the importance of women supporting each other and not being abusive.
Let us keep strong, continue to stick together as women, and let us support one another. Yes, we recognize Karen's plight. What YUGGE did to her, allegedly did to her, because we do not have any document showing what she did to her. But what she allegedly did to her, it is not right, and we are encouraging women, do not abuse one another. Be kind to one another at all times. We are supposed to be our sisters' people.
And the SVG Human Rights Association, in a press release issued on Saturday, said it is of the view that the fundamental rights and freedom of the former fashion model YUGGE FARRELL were infringed and continue so to be. In the release dated Saturday, January 27, 2018, the association made a reference to Farrell's first court appearance on Friday, January 5th, after being charged with the offense of using abusive language, which later saw the prosecution making an application for the magistrate to commit Farrell to the mental health facility for observation, noting that it is aware that either party can make such an application. The Human Rights Association said its concern, however, is what transpired in the courtroom to warrant such, as there was no evidence provided as far as the association is aware that would have warranted such an application. The Human Rights Association further outlined that on Monday, January 22nd, some of their members present at Farrell's second hearing observed that the accused appeared as someone who was in an altered state, which was later confirmed after Farrell's counsel at the time informed the court that she was being given medication. The association questioned the validity of the observation report and the treatment administered to Farrell. pointed out that justice must be done and also seen to be done. The Human Rights Association further called on Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves to immediately desist from using the media as a means of trying the ongoing matter in a public forum. And following the developments in Farrell's case here at home, a number of Vincentians living in Canada braved the cold weather on Sunday to take part in a protest action calling for justice for the former fashion model YUGGE Farrell. The protest action took place outside the town center court in Scarborough next to the SVG consulate office in the Toronto area.
Ho ho! The Gonsalves family has to go! Hey hey! Ho ho! The Gonsalves family has to go! Hey hey! Who are we? Vincentians! Who are we? Vincentians! Who are we? Vincentians! What do we want? Justice! When do we want it? Now!
Police here are investigating the circumstances surrounding a fire which occurred at a dwelling house at Upper New Montrose on Friday night, claiming the life of an infant. The police say the ground floor of the 15 by 30 dwelling house was occupied by Tamara Lavey, a 28-year-old domestic of the same address, and her 4 young children ages 7, 3, 1, and 7 months. According to the police, the information received is that the 4 young children were left alone at home in a bedroom with a single candle burning off a chest of drawers while their mother went to Heritage Square, a popular night spot in Kingstown. The police say, based on the hypothesis from the fire department, the lighted candle started a fire about 10:15 p.m. in the bedroom where the children were. The fire department was able to contain the fire on arrival at the scene and expresses appreciation to the persons who used buckets of water to try and contain the fire prior to their arrival. The eldest child, who is 7 years old, reportedly ran out of the house to seek help and escaped unhurt. However, her 3- and 1-year-old siblings received light burns about their bodies, while the 7-month-old baby sustained 90% burns about his body. He succumbed to his injuries at 4:10 a.m. at the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital on Saturday morning. Meanwhile, the police on Sunday, January 28, at about 6:30 p.m., arrested and charged Tamara Lavey, a 28-year-old unemployed of New Montrose, for abandoning her 1-year-old daughter, she being a child under the age of 2 years. Lavey was also charged for abandoning her 7-month-old son, he being a child under the age of 2 years. Lavey appeared before the Serious Offences Court today to answer to these charges. She was remanded in custody until her next court appearance. And the police here are also investigating the circumstances surrounding the death of Omar Millington, a 32-year-old formerly of Glen, but was residing in Lomans Hill up to the time of his death. Millington's body was discovered at 6:30 a.m. on Saturday, January 27th at Sand Hill Beach, lying face down with chop wounds about his body, a rope around his neck, and his feet and groin area partially burnt. The body was later pronounced dead by the district medical officer and transported to the Kingston mortuary, where a post-mortem will be carried out to ascertain the cause of death. In more police news, investigations are also being conducted into a motor vehicular accident which occurred on the Bookament Bay Public Road at 5:40 p.m. on Friday, January 26. On the date in question, the police say a purple Toyota omnibus registration number H2592, owned by Ricky Coombs of Barley and Gwilla and driven by Osborne Barber of Barley, ran off the Bookament Bay Public Road and struck a house belonging to Joseph Gordon, causing the omnibus to overturn onto its roof in the said yard. 13 out of the 14 passengers on board the omnibus at the time received minor injuries and were treated at the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital and were later discharged. However, Kelita Alexander, a 53-year-old domestic of Barley, the 14th passenger, is currently warded at the female surgical ward at the hospital as a result of injuries sustained in the accident. The driver reported that while driving, he heard a loud explosion from the vehicle's left tire, and as a result, he lost control of the vehicle. The vehicle was extensively damaged. And on the windward side of the island, a boat reportedly out of neighboring St. Lucia overturned off the coast of Fancy earlier today. One person is said to be missing. According to reports, there were 4 persons on board a small fishing vessel, 3 of whom were rescued. The St. Vincent and the Grenadines Coast Guard Service conducted search in the area but did not find anyone. A high surf advisory is in effect for St. Vincent and the Grenadines at this time.